Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is one of your first times joining me, either through Facebook or YouTube, welcome. I'm so glad that you have found me. Do make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel if that's where you're viewing from, or if you're on my Facebook group, go over to the Facebook page and make sure that you basically have liked my page. And then that way you'll get notified immediately as soon as I upload a new video. Now, for part of this particular series, you're going to need to be a member of the Stampin' with Diane Stampers group. And the reason being for that is because this is, how did they do that, Technique Tuesday? And basically, I upload this PDF file every Wednesday at 9:05 Pacific time. So let's just jump on right on down to my desktop. So this is episode number 21. And basically, I do this every week. This was something that was asked for me to do. Something I used to do with my club classes a lot was I'd give them technique books. Hello, Margaret. In any event, we are going back. This is a really basic technique, but honestly, without part of this technique, I find it very difficult to give you some embossing techniques, because this is the basics of the techniques. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of expand that a little tiny bit, where it's going to be colored heat embossing technique. And this one is where, you know, where you go and you say, geez, I wish I had maybe some red embossing powder. You don't need red embossing powder. With our stamp pads, the brand new stamp pads, you can get any color of Stampin' Up except for the black, but you can get any color of this embossing powder. And so I'm going to show you how that gets done. But this is a great technique to use when you have a colored embossing powder or you want it and you don't have any. And you must use, the one thing that you are going to need here is clear embossing powder. And also it's going to really help if you do have this embossing kit. It has the embossing buddy, it has the brush, and it has these tweezers. And if anything, this is worth it. Hello, Michelle. And of course, we need some Versamark. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to get any color that you want that Stampin' Up has, that you can actually do embossing powder with, or you can do embossing with. So I thought the best one to show it on is this snow crystal. What a beautiful stamp set. This one, the way when it stamps is, it really does look like a snow crystal. But I'm going to make this into an Orchid Oasis snowflake. I've got a dog that's sitting there. I don't know what she's doing, but in any event. So we're going to do this. So I am coming in and I've got this cardstock and it's actually 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And you have to be very quick doing this particular technique. So what you want to do is you want to have everything ready for use of this. Remember, tomorrow at 9:05 Pacific time, I'm going to be uploading this sheet. It will be a PDF. What I'd like you to do is, well, you don't have to do it, but the best way of learning is keeping a technique of your own or a sample of your own. So put a sample there. My sample of this particular card, very simple card, is going, I will have a copy of it there. And then I'll put the measurements of the card, and so basic, these measurements. They're not like really involved measurements. And then the notes, and where the notes will come in is using the snow crystal stamp set if it's something that you really haven't used that much, and it helps you looking up the numbers. All right, so this is basic white. It, like I said, it's 3 3/4 by 5 inches because we're going to layer it onto some Orchid Oasis. Now, another thing that you must do is you must make sure that it's a new style Stampin' Up ink pad, and you want to make sure that this is really well inked. If you have this where it is not well inked, what's going to happen is it won't cover it properly. So I have that. I've got this prepped already with my embossing buddy. I have my stamp set, and I think it'll really, really help if I have it on my Stamparatus, because I think I'm going to go in twice and ink this this stamp up twice on there. Now, the other thing that you need is clear embossing powder, and I've got that already. I always used a cardstock, so I'm just going to put that. Like I say, you have to be really, really quick. You do not have to be quick when it comes to actually stamping it, but it's from the stamp to the embossing powder that you've got to be really quick on it. This ink, or this this ink does stay moist for a while, but not for a long, long while. So what I want to do first is decide where I want to put this beautiful snowflake. Do I want it on that side or this side? I think I'll do it on that side. And I don't want it up and down. I want it kind of like this. So I think I'll just put it in kind of like this. Let's see if that's going to work. I have this in here for another reason. I'm making some gifts, and I need to have this in here, and it needs to be set in exactly this way. Okay, I think that'll work. And am I going to be able to put, yeah, I'm going to come in here and put my other magnet. Now, people have asked me what's on my magnets. This is duct tape. It doesn't rip as much as, say, washi tape or anything like that. So, okay. Now, this is the key. Wet stamp pad. Like I say, I'm doing Orchid Oasis. Ooh, are we going to get a halo? We shouldn't get a halo. And you know what? I know I need one more thing. And I don't know. Where did I put that? Is my embossing, or my Chucky. I have been doing so much embossing that well, I guess we're going to be doing it without the embossing buddy. So we really hope that we get this done right. Okay, still pretty wet on the stamp, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to ink it up a bit more. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to go like this. And I do not have my embossing buddy or my Chucky, which, geez, I wonder where that went to. But I can double check this to make sure that it's stamped properly. Oh, look, I got a halo there. I do not want that halo on there. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I am going to get another one, because that is no good. We do not want halos on this particular card. So I have this again. Let's just wipe this off. I don't know how I got, you know, when you have a Stamparatus, you shouldn't really get the halos. That's kind of far away in. Let's go ahead and put this about there and like that. And I believe this card piece is 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so I'm just going to come in again and ink that up. We're going to check for halos this time. Say we don't want any of those halos there, but we want to make sure it's all inked up. Let's go in and rub that on there. Whoops, see, it's not quite there. That's where the Chucky is so good. Okay, I'm going to come again and I'm going to ink that up again. Probably not necessary, but I just want to make sure it's good and inked up. And this is where you have to be very, very quick. All right. So I'm just going to take this like this. Let's take this off. Come with my clear embossing powder. Clear embossing powder. And you'll be able to tell whether or not if it's stuck on there or not, because even when it's white on white, it goes quite dull. So see how that's dull. And I really wish I could show you this gift that I'm making, because if I showed you this gift, you'd understand why I want to do it with embossing. With this Orchid Oasis, what happens when you stamp it is it gets lighter and lighter. And actually, I can kind of compare those two afterwards. So we've got that. You come in with my heat tool, another really important tool to have. And then, like I say, embossing, there's so many different techniques that I can use with embossing. So that's the reason why I want this technique, so that at least you see that you can do colored embossing. I can turn around and I can do a lot of different techniques now with embossing once this main one's done. So you don't go like this with your embossing. You do that, you're going to end up overcooking it. When you overcook your embossed image, what happens is that it flattens and it soaks into the paper. And honestly, it does not look very nice at all. So you can see this is starting to work. I'm moving the paper, not the gun or the heat tool. I find with the Starry Sky and Orchid Oasis, all those new colors really get very, very faint, or they tone down once they're dry, or once they've dried onto the paper. All right. Okay. Now, let me show you the difference. And what happens with this, if you've done this, and I'll show you another card at the end, see how different, how more vibrant it really is. Now, if you tend to do some covering with this, or if you do a different technique with it, what can happen is this would dull down. So this really works in that aspect. Okay, so another thing I want to do with this particular one is I want to come in and I want to do a tiny bit of sponging on it, or blending with it. And the reason being is I just want it to have a tiny bit of color. Well, actually, it might be okay because I've got this piece. It's not bad. We could even turn it this way. And I might even turn it that way on the card. So I've got my card base, and this is not cut properly. My goodness. Not sure why I am missing doing the improper scoring on here. Unbelievable. So I'm just going to come in with my trimmer and I'll just rescore it is what I'll do. So it's 5.5 by 8.5 and it's scored at 4 1/4. I say that that's because of my cataracts, but I don't think that's the case. I did a whole pile, and I know what I did. I went through it in my basic white thick drawer, and that's why that piece is sitting in there. Now what I might do is just do the front of this card, and you won't see it. There we go. So I'm going to do it like so, but see how that's colored now, and it's more vibrant. Oh, thanks, Carol. All right. So what do we want to do with that? I think what we'll do is we'll just leave that. I'm not going to sponge it. For the gift that I'm doing, I am sponging it. Now the other part is I can leave this, and I'm going to show you on the opposite side of this how this would work if I use Orchid Oasis on there. So if I go and I just stamp this like this, it'll be dark. But watch when I do it with the embossing. So we're doing colored embossing. So I'm just going to go ahead, and we can do this on colored cardstock as well. So just going to put it on there. And then I'm going to put that quickly into the clear embossing powder. You see, you've got a tiny bit of time to do it. I didn't do what I said to do, was have it all ready. But see how it just, you can't really see it there. And then I'm just going to put this away so I don't spill it. And now I can heat set that. And you'll see how much darker it really is. And that's why, you know, like, it's so great to have, to know that you can actually do this, but you have to be quick. So let me just quickly do this. And it just gives more vibrant of a color on there is all it does. And of course, when you do it on white, it's quite a bit different. Okay. All right. We've got that ready to go on there. So this is just going to have, and like I say, it's going to be a very, very simple card. I thought when I was looking at this, see how, what the difference is? You can really see the difference. So it just depends what you're wanting to do. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what I could do is I could tie this around here, and I think I might do it a couple times around. This is the ribbon that goes with the In Colors, and this is the Orchid Oasis metallic trim ribbon. So I'm just going to go there, and let's cut that. My interesting. Let's see. I should never be working on stuff before I do my live, because when I do, I completely lose my stuff and not have it in the right spot on my desk. All right, so let's see. Maybe I'll put that, it'll give more, it'll make it sturdier if I put it onto the cardstock. So like I say, very, very fundamental today. All right, let's go ahead and just tie this on. Oops. There we go. Now, this is something that somebody reminded me of, and I went, oh my goodness, I keep forgetting about this, is those tweezers that you get in your embossing kit. You can turn around and just use that and have that as part of your thing to make it so that you've got like a third hand. Like I say, I always forget that tip. So let's go ahead and let's just take that off. We're going to spread this out a bit. off to this side. This orchid oasis is so pretty. Oh my goodness. And what you could do too with this particular ribbon is that you can get it so that it's all frayed out if you wanted to. And we're just going to go ahead and put this right about here. I'm going to put that on with dimensionals. Like I say, pretty simple card today, but when you see this done, now after this embossing has been given to you, what I can do is I can now, and that's not on there very good, give you lots of, oh, it just opens up so many different techniques that I can show you. Okay, that is going to ooze out if I set that down right away. Because it's quite thick in there. There we go. See, it's starting to ooze out, so I'm going to let it set for a second. So how many of you do print off these technique sheets? Okay, let's just put that right there. A simple card. Being very careful because I don't want that glue taking off from there. So tomorrow is Mystery Wednesday. Oh my goodness. Do you like doing mystery challenges? They really are a lot of fun. Oh, so Margaret, you didn't know that you could color your embossing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, I think what I'll do is on here, I think we're going to use our Iridescent Pearls. And I'm sure you know about this. So I'm going to come in with my Orchid Oasis, and I'm going to come in with the dark one. And even though this is going to give some color there, I want some more color. So I'm going to color with the brush end. Be very light-handed with it, because if you don't, you could ruin the tips of your stamping blends. Okay, so we're just going to wait till that just dries a tiny little bit. You know what? I think I will separate these. So I'm just going to come in with my Take Your Pick tool. And let's just separate that just a little bit. And we'll separate this one as well. There we go. All right, so those should be fairly dry. Let me take that one. Let's just put that right there. Like I say, simple card. Sometimes simple is the best. Can you imagine if you had to do how many of those cards? You could do all of your cards that way. In any event, I hope you like that. Like I say, tomorrow it's all going to be done like so. It'll be on there. I do want to show you this one that I did the other day. And this is done with early espresso with clear embossing powder. And see, it's raised and it does help. So there's another example of that. All right, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, we'll be doing my mystery challenge. I hope you'll join me there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out because I'd love to give you a hand. And then I will be actually on Saturday, I'll be doing the sketch challenge on the Sunday. In any event, you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.